Calability to me is just a supportive, inclusive, fun time for everyone. I became involved in the Calability program probably say 30 years ago I started. My first class I had a special needs child and she had to increase her motor skills so that she could move into another school that was going to be more beneficial for her. So in 3.5, nearly 4 months, over that period of time, she achieved that. Not only were her parents really pleased with everything that was happening, but I felt really good too for being able to help. And it was so rewarding to see that Calisthenics had helped her achieve what she needed to do. Then about 10 years later, Calisthenics became involved to develop a program to include coaching of special needs children and to be all inclusive so that we could have classes with all abilities. I consider that it is very easy to include Calability into clubs. You can either have a total Calability all-inclusive program, or you could incorporate some children within your own classes. Good coach will find that very easy to do. I've had coaches ask me, how do I change my coaching when I coach a Calability class? I don't change my coaching style at all. What I do is teach slowly. Where I would normally teach arms and legs together, I would teach arms first and then I would incorporate a leg. Something else that I do that I think is really important is knowing all of the children's names, because as they move around the room, you need to re-engage them by calling their name. The other thing that works really well with some of the children is rewards. So I have stamps, lots of stickers, and give them out freely. Especially when I'm first working with the groups. Just give them out, like they're standing on their dot, fantastic, give them a sticker. If they've done something new, give them a sticker, give them a stamp. That really encourages them and they get a reward and they're feeling like they're being watched and they're just gaining so much from everything. Once I've been with a group for a couple of weeks, I've worked out what type of music works best. Mamma Mia, I think.
Yes!
Yes!
That's my song.
It's good to ask the children who their favourite pop groups are and just think outside of the box. Something that has a good, solid, strong beat that the kids can really relate to and have fun with, and sing. They love the singing when they're working. Just remember, when you're coaching, you're not alone in the room. You have huge resources in teachers and parents. I don't need to know the specifics of every individual person's true needs. What I do need to know is if there's something special for that particular day that I need to take note of. Or if there is a restriction. I have some children who have not a lot of movement in one arm, but they are still able to use their shoulders, so you just work around that. I have other children that have spinal injuries, so therefore our floor work, they get to the floor but they don't do all the back work. I will give them different arms. Good coaching is including everybody, making it fun and flexible.
Thinking outside of the box and adapting.
With the flexible rules that we have for calisthenics at competitions, if you want to go down that way, it's very easy to incorporate children at any level with any skill in and out of the item. You coach to the skills of the children that you have, and you coach to the ability of the children that you have. Equipment may be ribbons, flags, which you use very similarly to clubs, although you can use the noise factor with flags to create the interest. So you can do lots of swishes and flicks and things you wouldn't normally do with clubs. You can do that quite easily, which the children will grasp the concept of them quicker, and therefore it will be more enjoyable for them, rather than trying to include lots of full circles and head swings when you initially start to teach clubs. I've bought pom-poms, which is cheerleading, and the children absolutely love cheerleading. With the ribbons, I teach them with little stories like dusting the wall and dusting the floor and helicopter swings, so they're, over the head and landing helicopters. Lots of storytelling, teaching ribbons, in fact, teaching everything. I then have hoops, and the reason I use hoops is because rods with the children can become dangerous. The ends of the rods are a little bit hard for some of the children with hand difficulties or wrists that don't move easily. With the hoops, that is much easier for the children to handle. We can do twists with hoops, and something that the children love that I always finish with is putting the hoop on the hand and swinging it around like you would a hula hoop, or throwing it up in the air and trying to catch it with your hand. You can use the hoop to create interest. I also will include free exercises and always a dance, because the dance is something that they enjoy. And I changed the dance. This term I'm doing a karate kickboxing dance because I've got a lot of boys in my group. Last term I did girls just want to have fun because there was a lot of girls in the group, so we just include modern dance.
Something to think about when you're going to take a Calability class is the environment. In the big hall that I use, one end of the hall has glass, and I found that when I worked at that end of the class, the children were very easily distracted. So I then moved the class to the end where there were no windows, and all the attention was then on me.
Set dots onto the floor, very important to have dots on floor so that they have their own space to work in and don't intrude on somebody else's space.
Everybody find a dot. Standing on a dot.
When coaching the Calability groups, I use the same clothing every week because they get used to seeing you in certain clothes, and it just makes them more relaxed knowing that it is you walking into the room. Another little clue that I've found, if some of the children decide to run around, if you could start your class on chairs and do exercises on chairs, and then place the dot in front of the chair, and then you stand and do some work on the dot. The chair actually keeps those children who want to run focused, and it gives them a spot to be.
We can do our warm-up sitting on chairs. You can incorporate a chair within any of your work. You can make a chair fun by playing hide and seek with the chairs.
You just have to think about the environment and how you can make it work for you. least amount of distraction is best. Anybody who wants to be a recreational coach, I highly recommend it. It teaches teachers how to coach in a non-pressure situation.
To incorporate Calability within your club will increase your numbers. You gain children, you gain friends, you gain parents, you gain a lot of support. The children here have just blossomed. The teachers feel that the way the children work and commit to their classes is terrific, and the parents just come up to me and say how that children get home from school and show them their work and how they just love dancing, and they can see improvement in their motor skills and they can see improvement in their control. It's the use of the music, it's the use of the equipment. Everything combined just makes a wonderful, happy experience for everybody involved. It's really a very, very positive role that calisthenics plays.